I'm sure it will come as no surprise to any movie fan watching that DVD sales have been dropping year in year. There was a time, not too long ago, when I could have picked up a movie from Borders, R-Price, Silver Screen, Tower Records, Woolworths, Savvy, or even my local supermarket. Now there is pretty much only HMV. I get the convenience of streaming. You haven't got to get out of your chair, walk all the way to the TV, which could be as much as 6 feet away, bend over, put the disc in the player, and then attempt the perilous journey back to your seat. Honestly, and those hobbits thought they had a task.
I don't think there will be a return journey, Mr. Frodo.
There are technical advantages to using a disc. Streamed video is compressed. Even if you have a super fast internet connection, the video has to clump similar coloured pixels together in order to speed the data throughput. This is particularly noticeable in the dark areas of the picture. I tried to watch the excellent Peter Sellers drama Blockhouse on the British Film Institute streaming service BFI Player. The film, if you don't know it, is largely set underground and lit almost exclusively with candles. It was unwatchable. So I ended up buying it on Blu-ray, which before you comment below, I know is still compressed, but considerably less so. Watching on 4K is less compressed still. Watching a movie shot on film, projected, is not compressed at all, and therefore the best way to watch such things.
Chris, you have a reputation of being like a defensor of the physicality of movies, of shooting on film and everything. Do you have the same relationship with the physical edition on film?
Oh, yeah, very much. I think the home video versions of my films, the definitive versions, are the Blu-ray and the 4K versions, because there's much less compression. There's very specific authoring. We control the color of the picture, the brightness, all these things. When you stream a film, it's like broadcasting a film. We don't have much control over how it goes out. And also, being able to hold it in your hand and see the artwork and the posters and have the names, it's a real thing.
Another advantage of having a physical disc in your possession is no one is going to take it away from you. Have you ever been halfway through a TV series on Netflix only to find the distribution rights have elapsed and the show removed? It happens all the time. Maybe you don't use Netflix. Maybe you use a site where you have to pay for each show individually. Do you think the fact that you've parted with money will stop the show disappearing without trace? If your answer is yes, then you didn't have a Flickster account.
Strange creatures, women.
Well, can't stand around all
I
day.
knew one once. Striking-looking girl, tall, Father was a banker.
Really?
Don't remember the name of the bank.
Well, never mind.
I must have been keen on her because I took her to see India.
India?
At the Oval.
This scene from the sitcom Fawlty Towers caused some controversy a mere 45 years after its original broadcast. In the episode titled The Germans, which is often regarded as the high watermark of quality amongst Fawlty Towers fans, the long-term resident of the hotel, the Major, engages Basil in conversation where he recounts taking a woman to see India play cricket. In the Major's story, he tells how the woman referred to the sportsman by an ethnic slur, and how he told her not to do that. For a moment we think he's going to do the right thing in the face of bigotry, but then he offers a different ethnic slur to call the cricketers. It's a simple subversion of expectation put in the mouth of an old fool.
What does the classic American film Gone with the Wind have in common with the revered British sitcom Fawlty Towers? Well, after entertaining millions and millions of people for decades and decades, they were both recently taken off our screens because it was decided they caused offence.
Comedy is not about perfect people. It's about all of our imperfections. And it's not about things going right. It's all about things going wrong,
But does it mean that comedy also has to be offensive?
No, of course not. You see, they think that the PC people seem to think that if you make a joke or tease someone, you are degrading or humiliating them. And this is a complete misunderstanding.
Fire! No! Yes!
For this titan of comedy to be cast as unacceptable shows the impact of the cancel culture movement, which wields its power through social media. But to go from being on such a high pedestal, declared to be so great, and now to be treated, to borrow a line, like a very naughty boy, Must feel quite different.
But it's this pathetic idea that people can't stand up for themselves and can't hear different opinions. I mean, it seems to be extraordinarily condescending.
In the UK, the BBC removed the scene for their streaming services, iPlayer and BritBox. So if you want to see the show as it was originally broadcast, you have to get a hard copy.
Freeze! Jimmy, watch it, he's got a knife. Cloudy, watch it.
The French Connection is a neo-noir starring Gene Hackman and Roy Scheider as NYPD detectives Popeye Doyle and Cloudy Rousseau, who are in pursuit of a French heroin smuggler. It was directed by William Friedkin and won the Oscar for Best Picture.
The winner is The French Connection, Philip D'Antoni.
Not long after Disney purchased 20th Century Fox, The French Connection appeared on the Criterion Channel, a company known for its preservation of movies, but it was in an edited form. When questioned about their decision to cut a few instances of racial slurs from the movie, they said that this was the copy that was supplied to them. The film also appeared to be censored on Disney+. The French Connection is in no way a children's film, and the filmmaker and actor's choice to use the obscenity was done for storytelling purposes.
Gene did not really want to go to the dark side of that cop, because Gene is very liberal. He didn't really take well to using the N-word and beating up suspects and all that, which was the truth about that cop. And Gene didn't want to go there. So he and I had a constant tug of war where I had to get him angry. And he's angry throughout that picture.
Many Star Wars fans are annoyed that they cannot view the Star Wars movies that they saw in the cinema in 1977. They can only watch special edition versions, which on the whole are fine, but just don't scratch that nostalgia itch. But at least you had to go out and purchase these new film versions. There was a long period of time when you could buy both copies and people had to make the choice before the originals faded out of existence. But imagine waking up one day and finding out the film that you enjoyed had been changed without your say-so. That's what happened to the people who purchased Batman vs Superman. Oh yeah, it's been changed. The version I watched on Google Play was in 16:9 aspect ratio. Now if you go to watch it, it jumps between 16:9 to something closer to 4:3. I don't know how it was at the cinema, but I know what I purchased. And no one asked me if they could change it. You might think I'm being fussy, they have only changed the cropping of an image after all. Maybe this new version preserves the director's intention more. Which isn't a bad thing, I want the director's intentions to be preserved as much as possible. But I would also like a pop-up window to come up and say, would you like to see the new version? Or would you like to watch the one you actually purchased when it came out? Imagine your kid really liked the Justice League movie. I mean, really loved it. You took him to the cinema to watch it when it came out and it made his day. So you purchased it and he watches it all the time. Partly because he loves the film and partly because it reminds him of the nice time he had with you. Then one day he goes to play it. And now it's the Snyder Cut. Yeah, it's undeniably better, but it's not the film he wanted to see. And it's not the film that you bought. Of course, this is hypothetical, but if your favourite movie was in a little blue box on your shelf, you'd have nothing to fear.
You are responsible for raising an icon which draws worship from the Lord. You have broken the first commandment. More than that, I'm afraid not a one of you passes for a decent human being.
This is the Kevin Smith film Dogma, first released in 1999. It was accused of blasphemy at the time of release, but most people just found it funny. Its domestic gross exceeded $30 million from a budget of $10 million, yet it is suspiciously absent from any streaming site, and its fans have often wondered why.
Harvey Weinstein personally owns Dogma himself. I know. It's not like it's owned through a company that he owns. When Disney owned Miramax, during that 1999, the fear around the movie, Catholic League was upset. Disney made Harvey and Bob get rid of the movie. They're like, we want nothing to do with this movie, get rid of it. So Harvey and Bob, rather than sell it to another distributor, sold it to themselves and then licensed it for theatrical distribution to Lionsgate. At one point, we were the highest grossing Lionsgate movie ever until those sparkly fucking vampires showed up and shit. And then he licensed home video to Sony and stuff, and all those deals died a long time ago. That's why you can't find Dogma streaming or on home video and stuff, because the deals lapsed and nobody renewed them. And for years, man, nobody's fucking touched the movie.
So if you're able to find a copy of the Blu-ray on eBay, it can go for quite a price. Which brings me to my last reason to support the home movie market. DVDs and Blu-rays make really nice gifts. Maybe not the £160 copy of Dogma, but that £15 or $20 price bracket is really great for friends' birthdays or Christmas presents. And to say, this is a great film, I think you might like it, here I bought you a copy, means so much more than, you seen that new movie? It's on Netflix, you should watch it. It can't have gone unnoticed that cinema releases have become bigger and bigger of late. $250 million budgets used to be the exception, now it's the rule. The reason for that is because those quirky indie films or teen comedies or gritty cop dramas that came out in the late 90s or early 2000s didn't make money at the cinema. They were paid for through DVD sales. Streaming doesn't pay shit. It's a bad business model and it cannot be sustained. I doubt Netflix will go bankrupt, but one of the streamers will, and soon. I have no idea what will happen to their content when they finally disappear. Possibly nothing. I just hope your favourite film isn't exclusive to their platform. If you are a movie fan, and if you're watching this channel I assume you are, then keeping hold of a copy of the movie you love is a wise idea. If you don't do it now, then you're going to have to pay through the nose for a copy after it's been butchered, or worse, removed from distribution by the rights holders. So if you want my advice, keep your shelves full of the movies you want to re-watch. If you have enjoyed this video, why not subscribe? Because this is the sort of video I make. And there's lots more to come. I'm Scott Kingsnorth, and I'm making a movie.